Hello, my name is Bryce, and this is my channel Striving Intellect. And today we're going to talk about a sad and tragic subject, cobalt mines. So the pictures we have here are actually of the Democratic Republic of Congo cobalt mines. And as you can see, it is absolutely terrible conditions. There's multiple children in this shot right here. This lady is at a mine and she's literally carrying a baby at a cobalt mine. And from the amount of people in this top photo, it's obvious that there's going to be a large amount of children down there working in the cobalt mines. And this is obviously not the place for children. It's not a condition that anybody should work in. This top photo is obviously a massive amount of people in an extremely dangerous area. And I mean, it's absolutely a tragedy. Obviously, we use cobalt and other rare earth minerals for many, many things. Most electronics, batteries, chips for processing units. It's a massive amount of different things are going to need this technology in this material in the future, right? So here's another picture of the lady with her baby at the mine. That's very sad. Oh my Lord. And so that's all the photos. I'm not going to say it's exclusively the DRC, but obviously these are the things that we see a large amount of information from. From my understanding, it's artisanal mines, so generally not large corporations. It's usually smaller outfits that have child labor. That being said, it's not the right place for children. Obviously it's dangerous, but they should be in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously they should not be in a mine mining cobalt. That's absolutely ridiculous that this is something that is even happening in this day and age. But that being said, that brings us to this video right here. And again, this is just a look into a cobalt mine in the DRC. This is lithium and cobalt. Again, you know, there's a large amount of people in these outfits. From my understanding, it's not going to be all children, but just the fact that there are any children helping in these cobalt mines whatsoever is absolutely absurd. Like, there should not be anything like that happening whatsoever. And I get that the circumstances the families and individuals may be in may be dire, and they might be, you know, doing it to help their family. That's probably the case. But the idea that large corporations, governments, any you know, entity of power is allowing this to happen is absolutely ridiculous. Again, there's a large amount of kids in this video mining in the cobalt mines. Yeah, that's very sad. Very, very sad. So that actually brings me to this article right here at Ground News. U.S. and D.R. Congo discuss minerals for security deal amid regional instability. Rangers in the Democratic Republic of Congo face escalating risks due to armed conflicts, severely impacting their ability to protect wildlife, according to February edition of Habari News. Resurgence of M13 rebel group has heightened securities threats, hindering conservation efforts and leading to increased poaching and illegal logging. And again, like, for this labor, they use child labor for a large amount of these different things. It's not just cobalt mines or lithium mines. Families of the rangers in cities like Goma face disruptions in education and healthcare due to ongoing violence. The United States is exploratory talks with the DRC government regarding potential rights deal to stabilize the region, as stated by Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi. Sorry if I butchered that. In an interview with Semaphore. I just want to say, like, the regional conflicts in the area, it would basically be, from what I understand, there's rebel groups that are being funded by Rwanda, and the DRC wants the United States in their mining rare earth minerals, and also as just a security force in order to specifically negate the fact or the ability of these rebel groups to actually function in the areas. So they want United States businesses and companies to be there so that United States will use their military to secure said resources and companies in order to make sure that their investments are safe. I personally speaking, it's very unfortunate that there is a large amount of violence and security threats in the DRC. I don't want that to happen to anybody, but the fact that they want us to basically trade their rare earth minerals, including the lithium and cobalt that I showed you in the videos and pictures earlier, to trade for security, I think, generally speaking, if they're going to use child labor in their mines to get said resources we're trading our security for, I don't necessarily think that we should have anything to do with that. And I'm not trying to be cold or stone-hearted towards them. It's very unfortunate. But I think that any country that's using child labor in such a way, generally speaking, should not necessarily have our support. I would rather us not get any of our resources from places that use slave labor or child labor whatsoever. I know that's a hard thing to do, seeing that China makes a large amount of our products. But that being said, I would love to not have any material that's sourced in inhumane ways. And on top of that, I would probably actually pay extra for products if they did not source their material or labor in inhumane ways. So I, personally speaking, don't necessarily think that we should do the security deals, even if it's for rare earth minerals, which we really need. We can get our rare earth minerals from somewhere else. That being said, from my understanding, a large amount of companies and countries don't necessarily like functioning in places that have so much instability anyways. So it would be a big ask and a hard thing to sell to companies to go over to a place that is so unstable. Again, I don't have anything against people from the DRC, but that's just kind of how I feel about child labor and potentially slave labor being used at these mines, and I don't think that we should trade our security for it whatsoever. I would rather not have anything to do with it at all. The last page that I have is just a little bit of fast facts from the worldvision.org page on child protection for child labor. Fast facts on child labor. Child labor, by definition, is a violation of child protection and human rights. Approximately 160 million children have been forced into child labor since 2020. That's a ton. Of these children, 63 million were girls, 97 million were boys. In nearly half of those young laborers, 79 million children worked under hazardous conditions. 1 in 3 children in child labor are out of school, which they should be in, obviously. They should be in school learning, not working in a mine. That seems like an obvious statement. Approximately 70%, or 112 million of the child laborers, work in agriculture like farming and livestock herding. Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest number of child laborers at 86.6 million children, followed by Central Africa and South Asia with 26.3 million. June 12th marks the United Nations sanctioned World Day Against Child Labor. Time to reflect a young workers deprived of their childhood education and rightful future. And here's a video. Again, it's very sad. I don't want anything to do with any mines or material. I get that, this child, I believe, says that his father is sick. So he's working in a mine in order to take care of his family and his sick father. But again, it's not something that I would like to encourage whatsoever. And personally speaking, especially seeing that a security agreement means that we'll send our people over there to protect you, which is already a risk that one of our citizens will die in an extremely tumultuous area. But it also means that we're basically sanctioning these different mines and activities that these people are doing. And I have nothing against the people. I wish them a good life. I wish they would be in school and not mining in a mine. But I do not think that the United States should have anything to do with any of this stuff. I know this was kind of a sad video. I think it's very important, though, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe.